Good morning, usually good afternoon or good evening, but good morning. Welcome back to FPL Double Pivot. And today we're going to cover Game Week 31 review. Now, we've been away for a week or two, or I have been anyway. Kieran's been holding the fort with some amazing guests, by the way. Absolutely amazing guests. Vincenzo, Craig was on. If you're not following, go make sure you follow him because he adds more value than what me and Kieran have got to offer. Well, probably myself anyway. But yeah, all we're going to do is listen. It's an international break. I watched the game last night. I was watching a Wales game. I was fully glued, and I'm actually gutted. I am gutted that they didn't go through and Ireland didn't go through because they were in such a good position. They were both winning. Last minute goals took them to extra time. Both went to penalties. Both up on penalties, by the way. Both up on penalties. And then the penalties were not good, and unfortunately they didn't make it through. And it would have been good to see some other home nations there. I'm not really counting England because being Scottish, I can't really support England. There is a few countries that I support England against, but there's not many. So it would have been good. But the good thing is now Scotland have got more supporters. You know what I mean? Wales come support us. Ireland, both Ireland come support us. And be Scottish fans as well. But anyway, we're here to talk about game week 31, and we're just going to review and we're basically just going to chat it through. I've got a little coffee here this morning, so make sure you got a wee coffee. We'll just chat it. Any questions, put into the chat, teams, anything like that, and we'll talk it through. Hippie, whenever I do a show in the morning, Hippie's always there. He's always there. So good morning to you, mate. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully I had a good game week 31. But yeah, we'll just dive straight into it. Listen, game week 31 for me, and that's not why I'm very overjoyed and happy. It was good. It was a good game week for me. I took a -4, and I got 86 points overall, which was good. You can see there, a game week rank of almost just under 4K. So I can't grumble. As FPL managers, we always want more. We always want that number one slot, don't we? But yeah, it was good. And there's a few key personnel that did well for me. Well, most of them did, to be fair. Starting back to front, listen, Kelleher and Collins, the Brentford double up this season has been fantastic. It's been brilliant. And yeah, I think Collins was in and out the squad, so I'm lucky he got back and he played, which was good. He was kind of in and out. I think his form dropped a little bit. But listen, clean sheet. And I was kind of hoping for a little goal there, but again, we can't get everything. So a clean sheet, I'll absolutely take that when he wasn't in the squad, the last 2 or 3 game weeks. Kelleher, stop it. Stop it, Kelleher. Couldn't do his heroics last night, international, but yeah, he done it the weekend. 9 points. The guy's the GOAT. He's like the mini goalkeeping GOAT. He's been sensational. We'll leave the Forest guys to the end because it's very differential, so we'll leave them to the end. Then at the back as well, I had Virgil van Dijk. Now, we all get caught up, in moves sometimes, right? And Van Dijk was one that I was staunchly against. Now, I probably had a little bit of FOMO when he scored back-to-back. I think he had a 10-pointer and a 12-pointer. He had a goal, and then the next one he got a 10-pointer, and then I brought him in. Luckily, I brought him in for, that I think it was a 9 or 10 points. I think it was against West Ham. But yeah, I never felt comfortable. I'm a huge eye test manager. I'm a huge grass eye test manager. I do use data, but I'm more eye test. And for me this season, it seems to have worked. Because just Liverpool at the back, even at this weekend just gone, excuse me, it just didn't look good at the back. And at the start of the season, we all thought, oh yeah, Konate this, Konate that, he's the weak link. I'll tell you what, they're all the weak link. Even the Kerkez, he's too high up, or even if it's Robertson, he's usually too high up and his form has dipped off. But Konate and Van Dijk can't, we can't absolve him of this poor form because he's in it as well. And quite often when they concede a goal, you kind of turn around and look around and be like, oh, what have I got to do? Like, he's the hero. And I'll tell you what, both their forms dipped. Konate wrapped himself up in knots this weekend, didn't he? It was poor. Maybe he could have given away a penalty as well. So, yeah, obviously moving forward for wildcard and stuff like this, I'd be very, very careful of Liverpool players. I mean, obviously back at this weekend, got beat again. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And he's a lot of money. He's 5.9 mil. For me, this is one that I can say is a little victory. Anyway, definitely, I think some top players we hope We keep in hope, thinking, oh, they're going to come good, they're going to come good. But nothing really this season showed us that Van Dijk's going to come good. The only time he's got really a lot of points is when he scored a goal, which I think is once or twice. So yeah, I would kind of stay off him. Into midfield, Rodgers finally done something, an assist. Apart from that, there wasn't too much. And again, moving forward, I don't think he's going to be in my wild card squad for 32 or 33. However, I'm going to play the chips. Yeah, I think that could be a place better used or a little bit more differential. He's just not doing enough for his price. Listen, he could, but just the way Villa are playing, he scored another goal from outside the box. John McGinn, legend, super John McGinn. And granted, with John McGinn back and Tielemans coming back, they do have more and they will improve on their form, but they're still scoring a lot of goals from outside the box. Rodgers is good, but he's probably got like a 15-pointer in him again before the season. But when is that? Do you know what I mean? What game week is that? I'm not so sure, and I don't know if I want it for the whole time. Anderson, listen, Anderson is the GOAT. I think a lot of people, or some people this year, are annoyed about DC, but we were kind of told at the start, there's models saying this person might be good, that person might be good. I know there's some gems that we'll find, and that's, for me, that's like the core of the game. You find those gems before anybody else, and you have them in your team. Now, I'm not saying I found Anderson. I was probably quite resistant to Anderson, to be honest, at the start until I brought him in. I did bench him for his goal against City, which was one of my mistakes of the season. He was on the bench for, I think he had 12 points that week. But yeah, I think some people that are talking about DC, listen, the game evolves and we have to adapt to the game. So, we're 31 game weeks in. If we've not adapted to DC, I think maybe we should have a little bit earlier. Even I'm guilty of that. Maybe I should have went, a little bit earlier. Okay, it's a little bit boring, but this is what we wanted as FPL managers. We wanted the field to open more and have more selection choice. And that's what we've got. We've got more selection choice. We would have never chose Anderson before. We'd never chose Caicedo before. Declan Rice. So, all these have opened up. And I think it's a good thing for the game. If not, I think this season, especially with the lack of goals, lack of points, it would have been fairly boring and probably quite template. So I think it's good. I think it's really good, and it changes the points up. The points even now between kind of every rank are really, really close. KSC's in the chat. Good to see you, big man. Hopefully you will. Put in your points for game week 31. How did you get on? What rank are you at? And what rank are you currently trying to get before the end of the season? The big guy in the middle there, the Bruno Fernandes, never dealt the guy. Just unbelievable. He is world class. And even though, sometimes he can be annoying to the ref, although this season he hasn't really been as much, he's just world class. Everything he does, his balls through, his vision, his touch, his temperament, it is on point. And yeah, he's just going to continue hauling. He's going to be a captaincy shout for the remainder of the season, really. It'll probably be between him and a few others, especially with kind of Salah not having a good season, and obviously as the footer says, he's leaving, unfortunately. But we'll come into that shortly. Harry Wilson, I brought him in. I kind of brought him in for a little bit of cover this week, and the fact that he was playing a poor team. So yeah, he did get his goal, and yeah, I'm glad I brought him in. To be fair, like I said, I made 3 transfers, and he was one of them. Milinkovic and Gibbs White were the other 2, but we'll come on to the Nottingham Forest trio in a second. Gibbs White, we'll come on to that in a second. Ekitike went off injured after about 6 minutes. He's been a shocking transfer quite often, and again, I should have listened to myself a little bit more. I think when I swapped him or swapped Thiago for him, it didn't go well, and that's when Thiago got a hat-trick. So sometimes you've got to stand by yourself a little bit and back yourself. And that's what we did about Forest. Thiago, no goals, but DEFCON. I know, right? No goals, but DEFCON. So, yeah. Listen, I'll take the points and run. Now, let's talk about the Nottingham Forest trio. The delightful trio. Like I said, I'm quite an eye test manager. I'm quite a grass manager, and I watch highlights, extended highlights. If I don't watch your games, I can't watch every single game. It's quite even watch maybe 3 or 4 at the weekend. If I'm like it's pretty hectic, but it has to be done because there's stuff that data can't see. Same other way around as well. There's trends that you can't see with data, but this season more than most, I think it's definitely helped, and it's definitely, given me the rank that I've got now. There's a lot of decisions that I've made that people have seen the data, and I've not gone with it. Main one is Pedro. I think maybe a few game weeks ago people brought Pedro in, but what we know this season is Pedro's inconsistent. One game he's amazing, the other game he's not. Put that onto kind of the Chelsea team in total and the manager, which I'm not really buying into the manager yet. Yeah, it never really added to me. I mean, listen, you still need a massive degree amount of luck in everything we do, but the eye test for me is being the king. And that's why I brought in Forest. I thought, Spurs, it wasn't just because they've been on a bad run. They were in Europe. Okay, they played well and against Atletico Madrid, managed to score a few goals. But I just, especially in the Prem, it's a different breed. And their home record has been poor. Now, Forest, they got a little bit about them. And to be fair, the manager that's come in, I thought he was going to be pretty bad, but he's done really well. Very surprised, pleasantly surprised. And that's why I brought them in. So, like I say, the 3 transfers I had was, if we just go back to my team before. So I had Rice, Semenyo, and Timber. And that's who I swapped. And then I brought in Wilson, Milinkovic, and Gibbs White. And they did it. They done the business for me. Gibbs White got a goal. Anderson done his DEF CON. He probably unlucky not to get a little bit more with a few shots he had and through balls. Milinkovic, clean sheet, unit. What I was gutted about was I brought him in because he's not scored a goal this season and he's like 6'5", and Tottenham, this is what you get from the eye test, cannot deal with crosses. And it proved it. From the corner, the first goal, Forest's first goal was from a corner, and Igor Jesus, who's probably one of the smallest people on the pitch, got the goal. And he didn't really have to jump for it. It kind of landed where he was and headed it in, just behind Milinkovic. So there was method to the madness, but listen, still a 9-pointer. I cannot grumble with that. And one on Spurs, by the way. Spurs, it's looking bad for Spurs. I thought, do you know what? There's no way Spurs go down with the stadium. Even though the players that they've got, they're not performing. They've still got a good team. But I tell you what, they are in trouble. They are in trouble. And there's quite a few people on this platform, Spurs fans, that I have to apologise and say, I don't know. I think you might be going down. The good thing is you have the best stadium in the Championship. So that's... And actually, in hindsight, I've been thinking, okay, you think it is bad going down. Money-wise, they're fine for money, right? So, okay, you're still losing a few hundred million. It's not good. But, okay, it'll be hard to attract some players, but they could maybe reevaluate the team, get some good players in and out. Players will still go there. They'll still go to Spurs. Obviously, they won't get the top-end players, but maybe that's not what they need right now. They've got, the players that are very nice to have, you know what I mean? The niceties, but they need the real tough, solid players that are going to run through a brick wall for you. I don't think they have that. They've got very, players with a lovely touch on the ball. Xavi quite often. Well, last few games anyway, the start he was poor, but yeah, he's very good on the ball, but he needs the people around him to, he needs the John McGinns. He needs the Darren Fletchers. He needs the Robert Snodgrass around him. To assist them. But yeah, it was good. It was good game week 31 and overall up to 22k, just pretty much on the button there. So I can't grumble with that. And I'm catching Kieran. Kieran's a little bit worried now. He's probably not, but Kieran's just under 4k. I'm 22k. I'm just putting it out there. I think we might be the highest rated podcasters, FPL podcasters. I'll put a caveat on that because I've not checked. I know James, Planet FPL, was doing really well, so I'll have to check that before I make it official. But yeah, it's good. I mean, 86 points. And especially in a week where it was fairly low. I mean, if you look at the average points, 38 to get 86. I think most engaged managers got round about 60 to 70-ish or 65 to 70. So it was good. And moving ahead, we have to think about what we're going to do in terms of chips. What I would say, if you're watching this, you're watching it back, first of all, give it a like and subscribe, because that's what we like here at the show, and it's good to interact with you. But also, just wait out. We don't know the fixtures that are coming up. We've got to have the next FA Cup and some other games before that, and even before that, there's a lot of internationals, so there will be some injuries coming back. a lot of people have pulled out, namely like Arsenal players, the top teams. But the likes of Super John McGinn, they'll be playing. They'll be playing like on Scotland on Saturday, Scotland v Japan. I'll be there. But yeah, so just take your time. Don't worry about it. Probably, next week, start to consider what you're going to do, or come here and we'll tell you what the best strategy is. Everyone's got a different team, so it's not a one size for all this season, and that's pretty good, I think. What I was going to cover again, just leave any questions in the chat or anything else. We've covered DEFCON, we've covered eye test, overall rank. Like I've asked in the chat and they've put them in. KSE said he wants to currently OR 1 million plus. My aim is top 500k. See, I think you could go higher. The points are so pushed together this season that one good game week or one bad game week could pump you up or pump you down. Now, yeah, I think you can maybe get 250. 250. The thing is, if you get some differentials, 100k, 50k. The world is your oyster, mate. That's how I always see it anyway. For me, I think 22k. Realistically, I was watching Nick Triggerlips's video yesterday. If you've not caught it, go and watch it. Really good watch. And he's just reviewing game week 31 as well. But he was talking about his targets. The boys in the podcast as well, they were talking about the targets as well. Make sure you go back and watch that. They're pumping out some fantastic content over this break, as well as Nightmare. This is kind of like the shout out part. Nightmare's done some fantastic stuff with quite a few content creators. Hopefully myself soon. I'll have to get in there. But yeah, go and check out your stuff. But more to the point, they were talking about their ranks. Hippie's put on here. He's 268 points in hits. In hits, Jesus, you're as bad as Nightmare. Or 3.5, great fun. Yeah, you know what? Hippie makes on a great point here, right? See, this weekend that I had Forest players, because it was a 1 week punt. I actually quite enjoyed it. I really did. I was like, it's a bit of a punt. Backed by a little bit of data, a bit more eye test, and luckily it paid off, and it was more fun. Obviously, want to get highest rank, but you have to have fun in there as well. But my rank, I'm currently 20k. Realistically, I think if I could keep it roughly about this. Now, we always want to aim high. So really, people are, it's 20k, should be aiming for like top 5k. Okay, I am. And I've still got most of my chips left, which is good, and especially the wild card. If you've got the wild card, you're well and above probably your rivals, especially this season, and especially with the swing and the fixture swing. So, okay, I'll probably change it. I was going to say top 30k, but I'm going to go for top 15k, which still seems a little bit low. Damn it. I'm going to do it. Top 10k. Top 10k would be good. Now, we always think, right, top 10k, I want to get top 10k every year. And there's a lot of managers, I've been playing this game for longer than I care to share, but top 10k now is so much different from where it used to be. So much different. So for me, the top 10k is probably the top 100 or 200k easily. Would I say it was the top 500k? Possibly. It possibly could be. People more engaged. They've got information more at the fingertips. They've got models and everything like that. One what I will say on models, I'm not a model. I mean, I don't advocate for it, but I don't think it's a bad thing. So, if you use Review or Solio, I do like Solio. I do think you have to temper it yourself. And that's a good thing about Solio. You can temper it yourself. I'm not sure about Review. You probably can in some aspect. But I think you have to have a bit of both. For me, it's heavily eye test. I would say 70, 80% eye test and 20 data. For me, that's what works or what seems to have worked. Or, luckily, what has worked this season. But yeah, I think this season more than most, the eye test is more valuable now because people are watching football or highlights, in my opinion, a little bit less and going off the data. Now, you always get, engaged players like us or more casuals. And some people will look at the data, some people won't. For instance, my son, sometimes he'll bring players in. I'm like, okay, bring him in. I don't sway him. And quite often they pay off. I'm like, how did he do that? Right. So there, you can get a little bit lucky. And it's still a good show. Just because you have a look at the points or form doesn't mean you have to look in depth to reward yourself with points. So yeah, there are ways and means. But what I would say is definitely watch Or you could come to Double Pivot and we'll watch for you and then tell you. And then it's easier and you can do the housework a bit quicker. That's what you should do, as well as like and subscribing. But yeah, I mean, that's what for me this season. And it's more enjoyable. It is. There's little things that you don't see in data. For me, Spurs, we all know they're terrible at conceding crosses, and I try and add that into my games at the weekend. Milenkovic for such, you could have got like a 16 pointer. I'll take the 9, but you could have got a 16 pointer. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to have a quick look at leagues, and what I'm going to show you is the difference between an engaged or heavily engaged league and a less engaged. I wouldn't say casuals because they're not casuals at all, or at least not all of them. But there is differences in teams. All right, so we're going to go into Nightmares Dreamers, fantastic league. I'm even lucky just to be in this league, to be honest. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm 6 just now. Let's Talk Andy's top, having a fantastic season. I think he's top 1,000 now, or top 900. Not too far behind is Kieran, the co-host of the show as well. So it's good. There is some value to what we're saying. Kieran's having a really, really good season and a good score this weekend as well. One of the highest. Then you got people like Fran. You've got Nick, top quality manager. You got obviously FPL Harry. You got Marcelo. You got Trout, Usolio, Mark Southerns, Goat. You got FPL May, Jason, Elite Vibes. You got Gary at the podcast. You got Alf, Big Dog, Andy North, who does the Skillcast, and Gianni. And there's loads more. You know what I mean? You've got FPL Pickle, and you've got FPL Raptor and stuff like this. Prass as well. It's just full of goats, basically, this league. And D Unit. No, I'm joking. I take that back, D Unit. As is there as well. So yeah, listen, this is to highlight the point, it's a very, very engaged league. Now, if we have a look there, everyone's getting roughly about 60 odd points. Com, how the devil are you doing? Good to see you, mate. It's been a few weeks, mate, so I hope you're well. Yeah, so the league, it's a pretty good league, and luckily, it's kind of paid off for me so far this season, and I'm doing okay. Now, if you look here, 67 points, 68, 51, around about the 60, 70 marks. What we're going to do is we're just going to have a little look at teams, and then we're going to have a look at the less engaged teams, right? And you can see difference of players. All right, it's just quite a few, your Wilsons, your Andersons, your Fernandez, your other Anderson, defense Anderson. You got your Virgil, Gabriel on the bench, and your Arsenals. Now, clearly, it's wild card time, so we can use chips and stuff. But it's just an overall view of what players people have. Again, it's paid off really well for Kieran doing double Everton, which is good. But again, Virgil's, Wilson, Fernandez, Ekitike, and then you got an Arsenal on the bench. Slightly difference with Soboslai and Van de Ven. I did try and tell Kieran, don't have Van de Ven. Let's have a look at FPL Fran, doing fantastic this season. Again, Virgil, Anderson, Soboslai, Wilson, Captain Wilson, great shout. Thiago, Ekitike. All right, we'll have a look at a few others, but you get the general gist. All right, obviously, see my team. Let's have a look at Nick. It's a good game week again. Sanchez, I'm sure he'll be getting rid of Sanchez soon. A little bit different. There's quite a few. I know Nightmare had Gordon, but again, Wilson, Fernandez, Anderson, other Anderson, Virgil, and another Everton on the bench. Have a look at a few others. Let's have a look at Mark Southerns. This is slightly different, to be fair, but again, Fernandez, Wilson, Rogers, Thiago, Anderson, and your Arsenal on the bench. We have one more. Who shall we pick? I think I'd look at Harry, didn't I? Let's have a look at Fantasy Football. Trout, who does Solio. Again, Anderson's, the other Anderson, Fernandez, Gordon, Ekitike. His is a little bit different because, he uses Solio and stuff like that. He's a good advocate for that. And listen, it paid off this weekend. Didn't die with 10. There's a few Gordons creeping in there as well. All right. But you get the main gist, right? You get the main gist of what kind of players that we have in there. Now I'm going to look at my other league, which luckily I'm first. I don't advocate gambling, but I am top and it is a paid league. And I do have to start thinking, I have to start looking a little bit left and right and thinking I need to cover in the league slightly. Now, I haven't done that so far as of yet. And the temptation was there to go, oh, I'll just get that player in. So, they might have them. But again, they might move players on as well. But I've not done that. I made a considerate effort, like, no, I'm just going to keep playing how I'm playing. I'm going to bring the players in who I think are going to perform and taking the ones out who are not. And it's still been paying off. If that starts changing, I might alter it or near the end just to cover it. I might do that. But if we have a look here, and we'll see the slight difference. All right. So you've got the likes of Virgil, Anderson, Wilson, but then you've got slightly different. You've got Verts in there. You've got Pedro. Um, so he's set up for wildcard. And Paul McNulty, very good manager, especially on Sky. Used to be fantastic on the Sky game. Obviously, take that away now. And again, you got a little bit the same. You got the Andersons, you got Virgils, but then you got slightly different. You've got the Ryan, he's got Rogers. Not everyone has him. You got Garner. All right, so slightly different. He played Dubravka this weekend. For me, one I will say on Dubravka is if you're going to get a wild card, sacrifice one player for a little bit of value and bring in a better keeper than Dubravka. It's getting to the end of the season now. Burnley are going to start getting battered more than they are. I think they conceded 2 or 3 in the last 4 games. It's going to continue like that. So if you've got bench boost left, you're not really going to get anything from it. Got Allen here. Again, his is slightly different. He had Matty Cash, good shout this weekend. Gordon, slight differential. Alderetti's in there as well. And then on the bench, obviously, it's going to City and his Arsenal. But you can see the slight differences. They seem slight, but they're actually quite big. Here's one straight away. Martinez, Hall, Van de Ven. Soboslai, a little bit different. Raul up top, great shout. So you can see the slight differences, but that makes quite a big difference, especially whatever leagues you're in. E3 hitted. So that team would have been a little bit different this weekend, but you've got the likes of Palmer in there, Pedro, that kind of thing. All right, so free hit is a little bit different, but let's go to Flint Tropics. He didn't, and then looking here, see you've got the normals like Virgil, Anderson, Rogers, but then he's got slight differences. Embuemo, Palmer, Pedro, played Kruppe, actually came in from, which was good. Who's he got on the bench? In the normal bench that we had. So you've got to look at your leagues. I'll have a look at one more. So look at Fergie. Yeah, look, he's got Tav in there, and Thaw, and a little bit different there. Played Petrovic. So you can see by the leagues, do you know what I mean? That it's slightly different, and you kind of got to go for what you want to achieve this season. Whether that be you want to win your mini league or you want to get the highest rank. Clearly, you want to do the same, but sometimes they're not mutually exclusive. Sometimes you kind of have to have a 1-2 win the mini league. Now, if it's a little bit of money, I completely understand that. But what I would say is just temper your rank. And don't go too well. I'm 22k. If I could keep 22k for the end of the season, I'd be over the moon. Clearly, you want to go a little bit higher, but just temper your expectations. What I would say is have fun as well. Make sure you're having fun, because I think this season, maybe last season, FPL's become a little bit more commercialized. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think the space is, in certain aspects, has changed a little bit for the good, some for the bad. All right. But if we don't have fun, what are we doing on the platform? And I think the biggest thing for me is banter. Like I love it the most when, maybe not at the time, but I love it the most when people are like, oh, what have you done? Oh, you've brought that player in, you absolute nightmare. And I don't mean FPL nightmare. What have you done? So you got that, but then when it pays off, like Forest at the weekend, it's good, and that's what we play it for, FPL Hippie said, "I'm a nutter." Well, each of their own. Competing with same people, many using computer help to win no meaningful prize. Well, I'm with Hippie a little bit here. There was a little bit of discontent in the FPL community that people weren't enjoying it as much. Now, is that because we're getting a computer or a program, to tell us our moves, and then when they don't pay off, we're becoming a little bit annoyed, because if we go through that process and we all become, automated and AI, or we're all going to do that same move, it would be a boring game, wouldn't it? So I kind of understand what Epi's saying, and I do to some degree back him up. Really, you've still got to be, you're making decisions, even though a program's telling you to do that. For me, quite often that program isn't correct in terms of average points for the FPL, game week. Salah, for instance, has been up there for, he's been the highest, predicted points for like 2 or 3 weeks, which, is form. It's just not there. And I think the models will adapt, but I don't. The beauty about football, they could never, 100% definitively say that player is going to score the most, and that's what I like about football. Just like games, do you know what I mean? Wigan, Man City in the final, stuff like that, and that's what we love about sport because it could happen. Could Scotland get out of the group? You're damn right they're going to get out of the World Cup group. You can quote me on that. Take that to the bank. And I said it now. So that's the beauty about sport, and that's what we like about it. So yeah, just remember what you're playing the game for. If that's the way you want to play, and you just want them to make your moves, or you're using that as part of a decision, which you just think is probably the best thing, then that's fine. That's no drama. Everyone plays the game differently, which is good. What I'll do is I'll leave it there because it's game week 31. People are doing other stuff. We're watching international break, all that kind of stuff. What I will say is look out for more content over the weekend. We'll have another long running video this weekend, which is good. We'll just be chatting stuff in general, what's coming up, a little bit of fitness in there, a little bit of mental health, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and obviously a little bit of FPL. Next week, before the game week, we will have the fixture decoder back. The long-awaited fixture decoder is back, where we help you decipher the fixtures. And is that red or green fixture actually difficult or easy? And we've got plenty more. Kieran will be back on. We might even get Craig and a few other guests on. I'm still trying to grab Nightmare and get him back on the show. Same with Nick and Gary and the team. Just as we're finishing, Big Paul's in. Paul, how are you doing, mate? Just finishing. Hopefully watch back. Just like everyone else has joined, or if you're watching back now, please give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Plenty more content before the end of the season, and we'll be doing a lot on the World Cup. You better believe it, because I'm going to have a full squad of Scotland players. I don't think you could do that. I think you could have 4 max, but I'll try. I'll try and do it. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this, okay? And it's a little tune. Hopefully it doesn't get stopped for, what do you call it? For copyright, but a little thing I like to play my game week by. It's a song by Miley Cyrus, the GOAT, by the way. And always remember, what's it about, Miley? It's about all about the climb. Now, I think that's probably where we leave it there. Listen, have a fantastic weekend. If you're going to international games, you're going to Scotland game, I might even see you there. Come and say hi. If not, have a fantastic day, and I will see you later on. Bye-bye.